Well, hello. Welcome to this one. It's been a long time since I did this kind of interview. I have got a very special guest for the Mother's Day one. But I'm thinking, whilst we are on today, we might as well just do a textbook production. For those of you who are my students who ask about some of these things that I bring up in the course, Amma, what do you mean by a textbook structure of a content? So let's try this. Let's take you through. Let me show you what I mean. And I hope that it is very illustrative, right? Let's get our intro going.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Amma Manson Show. So, hopefully, you are not a stranger here. But what goes on here is education, definitely some empowerment. We add humor, information, and just a good vibe generally. It is not just a talk show, it is a life show. We talk about life, we unpick life, we find solutions to things that are stresses in our life, and we make progress together. It is the Amma Manson Show, and my name is Amma, your girl, your educator, your motivator. And sometimes when I need to, I kick your hind to move you in the right direction towards personal development and progress. Invite other people to join in, and hopefully you have a wonderful experience on today's show. Let's get straight into the mix.
Okay. Right. So this is playing the game textbook style, starting a broadcast from the intro, allowing people to get into the groove. And for those of you who are not used to me doing this, what the intro is supposed to do is give you time to invite people to join us. This is where you share the feed, you tag people, you tell them that we are on to do a crazy show for you. Right. Some of you may know him, others may know not who he is. Yeah. I will call him Selassie throughout this, but for you, it's Mr. O. All right. He will tell you where the name comes from. He will tell you about himself. I have a lot of questions. He's a very exciting character because for those of you who belong to the Jakpa movement or those who are dreaming of Jakpa, he's one of the most interesting characters there is on the horizon. I want you to hear his Jakpa story. I want you to hear the things he's doing to transform outcomes for himself and his family. So let's start here. Selassie, you are very welcome. But let me
Thank
give
you,
you
Sama.
to introduce yourself to the audience, how you want them to get to know you.
All right, Sama, thank you so much for this opportunity and happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
And all the wonderful women on this platform and other platforms that are streaming this broadcast. I go by the name Mr. O.com on social media, but my real name is Selassie Oting. And my parents, by virtue of me being born in a Catholic hospital, gave me the English name Richard. So,
I like
yes,
this. Yeah.
the day I was born, they looked on the calendar and the nursing assistant that was there, in fact, the doctor in charge was like, today is St. Richard's Day. So, my mother should call me Richard. My mother was just going by Selassie Oting, and that's it. But they added the Richard, and it's been part of my name ever since. And I am a young man. I love mathematics, so I'm teaching mathematics in the United States currently. But I'm from Ghana. I've been in Ghana all my life. I just moved to the United States to impact knowledge. In fact, to impact relevant knowledge.
I like that. So
Yes.
Selassie is in the US. We are going to start
Mhm.
the journey from the beginning.
Yes.
Let me actually ask you the very difficult question that people ask these
Mhm.
days. Why would a nice young man like you, qualified in Ghana, decide
Mm.
to be selfish and abandon the country and go to the United States? How very dare you? But explain to us.
Thank you, Sama. Um, it's not being selfish. It was a carefully planned decision that I took to move because I was born in Ghana. I've lived all my life in Ghana, and we've seen and heard news from other parts of the world. We've enjoyed stuff from the United States, from the United Kingdom, all over the world. And it got to a point in my life when everyone was traveling. But I told myself, in fact, I've traveled before when I just finished secondary school. I went to visit my family in the UK, and I came back. But throughout the time, went back to university, finished, started working, got married, and everybody was trying to leave in order to make a better life for themselves. But I told myself I didn't want to travel empty. I didn't want to travel without a plan. I didn't want to travel to suffer in another man's country because all the stories we were hearing those days on the news, on Peace FM, and all those radio stations was mainly about people who are traveled and they are stuck somewhere. They are not getting any place to sleep. They don't have anybody to help them. Their passports have been taken from them because of the agency they went with and all that. So personally, I wasn't ready to go through that stress. So when my friends were going, I'm like, no, I need to go right. I need to do the right thing. I want to go properly. So I walk into a job. I know where I'll sleep. I know where my life is going to go. And I believed after school, I had been in the teaching field for 10 years. All right.
Wow.
But it would be like 9 calendar school years. But basically, from 2010 October till 2019 July. And I felt I have contributed my part. I did my service. I've contributed my part to the economy. So it is time to at least upskill a little bit and experience something beyond Ghana. So that was the whole idea. I didn't abandon them. In fact, in my last year, in the 2019, the Form 3 students that I took and they wrote the exam, they did marvelously more, I mean, well than even the previous years that I've taught. So I left a good mark for that one. So I didn't just leave. Yes.
That's good. So I've
Yeah.
seen my thing is flickering. If for any reason it kicks me off, I will wait for it to reload. Just carry on, and then I'll be right back.
All
Okay.
right. All right. No
I'm back. You
problem.
can hear me. So let's just continue. So you
Yeah.
did not abandon ship.
No,
You
I
took
didn't.
some time, you thought about it, and then you finally decided to leave. So let's go through some of the
Exactly.
things that you did that made you ready to leave. So you didn't want to go with no plan. What was the plan?
No.
What was the plan? What did you do before you got here? And do you think that your preparation before you came was adequate?
Hmm. The plan was very simple. Walk to a job and start a life without the normal struggles of people having to depend on others, calling friends and they were not responding. You know, there was this a lot of stories about I had even my own friends who traveled to South Africa and stuff, and they were struggling because the contacts they had never got in touch with them when they got there. So I sat down. In fact, I was supposed to even leave in 2018. I should have left in 2018. But I told my friend, you be the John the Baptist and take the lead and tell me if it is a good place. If not, I'm not coming. So we joked about it. So I started writing my stuff out. In my first year, what am I going to do? In my second year, what am I going to do? I mean, I laid out all my timelines. It looked perfect, in quotes. It looked perfect and it looked smooth. And at least I could say that 80% of them was kept like that when I came. And I started asking the questions. In fact, I was asking him hard questions, because the complaints were coming from him, the classroom struggles and all that. I'm like, dude, do you think it is right for me to come? Do you think I will make it when I come? Because I don't like the stories you are giving me. So every day as I drive back to school in Ghana, I'll be planning, I'll be thinking, I'll be planning, and I'll be thinking, I'll be structuring how my family will join me, how my children will go to here, how we'll go here, how everything was kind of laid out, both in my mind and in a diary. So I had that kind of layout with how things should go before moving, and even before I even started applying to the agency that I used to come here. Yeah.
Okay, so you were not praying, you were planning.
No,
Interesting.
I was actually planning, and I I have spoken to, yes, I'm a Christian. I go to church. I've spoken to my pastor, and one thing he told me, he's a medical doctor by profession. So he was like, listen, yes, I need the youth, I need the young guys to build a church, but I will never stop anybody. Even if God says all of you should travel out and make it, I support everyone 100%. And that man was genuine. Reverend Dr. Tano, he is genuine, he is straight, and he will tell you, he said, look, the work of God needs money. Go out there. So, yes, we pray. After the prayer, we need it. Yes, we do it every day. But because two of my sisters, my senior sisters, they marry pastors, and I've stayed with both of them. So for that kind of, like, I understand it, and I know the place of prayer, and I know the place of, common sense and science. So I wasn't mixing the two. I was doing both alongside, and I was trying to save money, do this, but I was just putting my place that if I leave, how will my wife and children feed for at least that first 3 months? How would they do this? So I structured everything before the green light came. Yes.
Okay, so planning and preparation. Good evening, Malcolm. George, grab a drink, come join us. Hello, Gail. It's good to see you, sis. Right.
Yeah.
I am having this series of conversation with people
Mm.
who have moved. I get this a
Yeah.
lot. People ask me, Amma, why are you not talking about Jakpa? Why are you not
Mm.
talking? And I always say to people, well, see, somebody like Selassie has recent relevant information to share with you. He can tell you what he's just done. He can tell you the things that he's experiencing. Hopefully, he will tell
Mm.
you some of the things that he wished he knew and the things that he will do differently the next time. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that those things will be informative for you. So, for those who've been harassing me about Japa, this is the short series I'm going to do in response to that. And I hope that you take the opportunity to engage, interact, pick up lessons, and go. What I am not going to offer is for you to harass Selassie after this. How do I get a job? Get me a job, get me a job. Nobody's getting you a job. He is himself a guy trying to figure things out for him. He's got
Mm.
a family that he's got to care for. No, he hasn't got that amount of time to sit on Google to find things that you can find on Google. He's going to tell you the names of some of the teaching agencies and some of the things that he used to prepare. You are going to sit on your backside on this internet and you are going to research and you are going to find the information. I've told him, if any of you goes into his inbox and you're like, I saw you on Amamanson, do for me, block them immediately. Block them. Don't even entertain it. Don't wait, because no, we are not here to waste his time
Yeah.
nor yours. He's going to give you information and you are going to act based on the information you receive. So
Mm.
you were dreaming of coming to the States. I'll come back
Yeah.
to the operation point again. When people come to the West, it's
Mm.
actually a baptism of fire for most people.
Yeah.
There are many struggles in there. And I do
Mm.
not want to gloss over them. I don't want people to think we are discussing rosy journeys. We are not. So let's go there. What are some of the greatest challenges you first experienced personally and professionally when you came to the US?
Dama, thank you. And professionally, let me start with the professionally because personally, when I came into the United States, because I've been dealing with a lot of stuff from here, I had a lot of business plans and business dealings with the United States already. So it was a kind of like you have a working knowledge of how the life should be. But professionally, I have never taught in the outside Ghana before. So that was my first time. And it was a real baptism of fire, Mr. Ama. It was a real, it was a real test. Sometimes when I talk about this, and I'm like,
Let's
I
go
thought the
there.
teaching center.
Slow down. Slow down. because
Very
I am
true.
fascinated by this baptism of fire. I think here is a great opportunity for many of the aspirants to
Yeah.
understand the
Yeah.
reality so they can adequately prepare.
Hmm.
So pick some of the things that rain fire on you on your arrival.
Sure. And the first thing as a professional teacher that threw me off was the willingness of the students to learn. The willingness of the students to learn. It wasn't there. And there was nothing like orientation where, like your first teacher, they send you to a classroom, they or you understudy a teacher for 1 week before you know. I just got to the school after my orientation with the agency. They, in fact, my personal one, I'll talk about it later. You will hear some, but the professional one, when I got to the school, the first day, I went to the principal's office and I presented myself. So I'm here from EPI, blah blah blah. And they just said, okay, oh, Mr. Otten, you are welcome. And they ushered me to my classroom. Straight up. They just
Okay.
they just gave me my books, my stuff, and they said, let's go. We
So
climbed this staircase.
let's take it one topic at a time. So you had met students in Ghana who are
Yeah,
from disparate places who know that education is their only ticket out for majority of the cases.
exactly.
So this
Exactly.
is something that you could happen. And then you came to meet American kids who have food, who have food stamps,
Mm.
who have got social projects. And depending on where you were, I know where you were. There'll be a lot of Black American ethnic kids who are
Yep.
there. Yeah, this is one of the best things they've ever seen. And no, they are not here to study anything. They are not
No.
valuing education. So how was that to you? What were
I
some of the
mean, they let me just circle back a little bit. So they just walked me and I got to the in front of the class. I saw my name. I'm like, wow, my name is on the door. This is the first time I've had my name on the door, like ever since I started teaching. So I was I mean I have a lot of nice thoughts in my head about how and the orientation we had, they didn't mention anything. The reality some of my friends were telling me, I never heard anything. So in the orientation, I was like, are you guys lying to us? Because some of the stories we hear behind the scenes are different from all that you are telling us. Yours sounds rosy. So I was like, okay, let me take it and see. Then I got into my classroom. They showed me. I had to, and the first day I had to decorate my class. I was lost. I sat in the class for 1 hour. I didn't know what I was doing. I said, why on earth will kids that are 15 years, 16 years have to decorate a class for them? I was angry.
math teachers don't decorate?
Oh, we don't decorate anything. I don't understand why we are going to decorate a classroom. Ah, I sat there, I looked in the class, and the class looked neat, looks beautiful, looks nice. I'm like, so what am I going to decorate? I was confused. That was the first confusion. Sorry. That was the first confusion. And I sat there for like an hour. Then I went out and I saw something and I said, so what do I do if they say we should decorate a class? They walked me through. I went to the media center, got all the material, started decorating, and I said, okay, I have the concept now. I did a little bit and I left it. And that was like 2 days to the real class, students coming to the campus.
Yeah.
And I went in. And you see, you are supposed to stand by the door when the students are walking into your class and welcome them. I didn't know I was sitting down. So I was sitting, I was sitting down.
Drinking your coffee.
I was sitting down thinking about my life. and they were coming, they were standing there. I said, come in. Before one teacher came and said, oh, you're supposed to stand at the door. I'm like, okay. Then I came out and I stood there and you're supposed to greet them. Oh, hello, hello, goodbye. We'll be smiling. I'm like, this job is like the doorman, the movie doorman. I mean, why will I be standing here and doing hello, hello? These people, and they don't even want to respond. They don't respond. Some of them will just look at you and walk away. And it was so annoying. And I just sat there, I just smiled through the whole thing. And when the bell rang for the first day to start, I went in, introduced myself, talked a little bit about where I'm coming from. Then I was like, okay, let's start class. With the mind that on a normal day in Ghana, they will have their notebooks, they will have everything set, and you are supposed to deliver. The moment I started, oh, Sister Abba, this one was on their phone, this one was on their, they were talking, they were chit chatting about all. I'm like, guys, you need to pay attention. I said, no, 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 nobody was listening to me. That day, Sister Abba, that
So
day was hell for me.
it was hell, but there are certain elements in
Yes.
this hell that I want to unpick. Clearly,
Hmm.
there were aspects of your pedagogy from Ghana that did not prepare you for practice
No,
here. So let's
no.
pick them up. What
Yeah.
part of your pedagogy was not adequate in preparation for this group of students?
The first thing I'll say is the student-teacher relationship. I
Okay.
mean, there is nothing like that in Ghana where, I mean, back home it's pure superior, I mean, subordinate relationship. So the teacher is supposed to shout, you're supposed to listen. He's like the repository of knowledge. He has it all. So you have to keep quiet and you listen. And that was it. So if you look at our preparations throughout the university, everywhere, training colleges, they don't prepare you to have that kind of, I mean, for the students to have a voice in your class.
Nope, there's no agency.
There is
So
nothing like that.
interesting. I'm glad we are going there with the pedagogy because again, it's important that people who are transitioning across become aware of this. Behavior management
Exactly.
is one of the greatest challenges for a lot of migrant teachers for this reason. You
Hmm.
are the sage on the stage, you expect to be given the stage, you expect to have the mic, you expect to preach and for the students to have their notebooks and writing and shouting hallelujah, hallelujah, amen, we receive
Mm-hmm.
knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you will come to realize that the kids here don't want to receive your knowledge. And in fact, in most of the cases, especially for foreign teachers, you will have to prove that you do know your stuff. They will test you.
Exactly.
Did you experience
Exactly.
that?
I experienced that. They tested me. In fact,
How?
it wasn't even about the content. It wasn't about the content. They tested me in handling them, in the way I handled them.
Yeah.
It was a real test. I mean, they were testing everything, whether I know the school rules, whether I know what to do when they are on their phones, whether I know what to do when they catch out at other students. So a lot of things were going on at the same time. So it was like a storm in a teacup. And so many things were happening. And I was like, so what do I do? What do I do? Then I said, okay, guys, let's settle down. Then I said, okay, let's put the studies aside. Let's go through my classroom rules. You
Mhm.
know, those are some of the things I didn't know. Let's go through my classroom rules. And they said, okay, let's listen. The usual rhetorics. I went through and it was still the Ghana thing in me trying to give them what I want. But they were not even having none of those. It was having none of those. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? So the moment and I had 7 periods in the day, 7 periods.
Yeah.
And by the time I've finished talking about my classroom rules, the bell has rung, and they just get up. They don't even tell you. They just walk out.
Yeah.
Then I'll breathe a sigh of relief. I say, hey, so what next? Because the next set of students are going to come. Am I going to experience the same thing? At least the other periods gave me a little hope because you have some good ones from good homes who respect and they try to shut the others down in order for them to listen to me. In fact, the number one thing that got me off my starting point was the accent.
Yeah. Let's go
The
there.
accent, the accent got me off,
And I'm very
and
sure you are very educated in Ghana. You speak very
yeah,
well. Everybody
yeah,
knows that you speak English. We are
yes,
Anglophone, and you go into America, you're going to fit
hmm
right in, and they should understand
exactly,
everything you say. And then you find what you don't understand them, and they don't
exactly.
understand.
Exactly.
when you speak the same language. Share that experience.
The
What?
same language. Sorry.
No, no. I would like to know your experiences there. What were you saying that they didn't understand? What were they saying that you didn't understand? And I'm sure you would have thought your accent was fine until that point. And what do you
Mhm.
now know about the accent you came with?
Yeah. So I was speaking and I could understand myself. I could hear myself. I could understand myself perfectly. and and I was like, are they not supposed to? Because we watch American movies and we understand them. So what am I saying that they don't understand? Because most of them were just looking in each other's face and they were looking funny and everything I was saying. And one got carried and said, "Mister, what is your name? Man, we don't understand anything. I mean, he used the ones of the curse words. We don't understand." And I'm like, really? But I'm speaking clearly. I was speaking nice English,
You're
nice
speaking
British
Queen's
English.
English. Oh, this is hilarious. Yeah.
These kids were just looking at me weird, and it was one period after the other until I got some Haitians who were not perfectly, so they also, and I got one Niger student, so they could relate to me. And they was like, "Oh, we understand you. Everything you said is classic. Then why were the others still Mr. Obama?" They were just playing. And I didn't know the tactics because I should have addressed the accent issue first.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I should have laid grounds on and let them know and understand. But as usual, the Ghana was still in, so I wanted to
Oh, but you didn't
use.
know. You
I
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
And it's
I didn't
very
know.
interesting with my sister say this. I'm glad you are on because I think you will relate with this on many levels.
Mm,
There are some of you who will relate with what Selassie is saying on a personal level, but I also do want the parents here who have brought my grandchildren to hear this
mhm,
conversation very carefully.
mhm,
Now, this is a professional. This is somebody who knows his job. This is somebody who knows his stuff, who's come to this place quite confident, quite comfortable, and he is experiencing this kind of culture shock. Now, imagine even an adult without those credentials, without he's here to teach. And yes, the kids knew that he had his paperwork right. He's fine. They've checked his qualification. They know, and this is what he's experiencing. Now, imagine when you come in under any other circumstance, and especially for kids. So let's go there. Selassie, now that you have been here yourself a few years,
mm,
what have you noticed about the accent you brought that made the
mm.
children's claim legitimate?
I realized that first of all, the British and the American accents are different. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, the pronunciations of words, the way we refer to stuff, the jargons. So a British man will say a dustbin. An American man will say a trash can. Not even trash can, trash can. And I was just mentioning the words the same way I spelled them, trash can. Trash can, what? Then it got them confused. So I began, in fact, it took one student who sat me by the side in Florida those days and said, "Mr. O, you need to know how to differentiate between the jargons. That way you can relate to them." And most of them speak the street English, not
Yeah.
classroom English.
Yeah.
So to get to them, you need to come to a certain middle point, not to their level, and be able to pronounce the words, pronounce the things the way they know it. That way you can get them to listen.
Yes.
And when I started, it became a little bit better and perfect. Not perfect, but it was better. But I mean, now I'll say better. On a different day, I'll say better. Uh-huh. So gradually, a lot, a lot has changed in the way I say things, the way I pronounce a lot of things.
You know, I am laughing because I met a guy from Ghana recently, and the person says, "Pardon, sister, I'm a pardon." Don't say that in public. Please don't say that in
Mm,
public.
mm,
Trying to
mm.
orient this person, and in fact, he was getting rather offended. And I was explaining
Wow.
to him, look, there is no offense here. I
Exactly.
am trying to tell you how the system works. And
Mm.
I'm trying to prepare you for what is to come. I'm trying
Hmm.
to bridge the gap for you so you don't
Exactly.
walk into the baptism of fire that a lot of migrants experience.
Mm, mm,
Pardon? Say that again. I don't understand. And I'm trying to get this guy. And then at some point, my husband did this to me. And I'm like, okay, touche, back off. I'll let you go
mhm.
face it.
Yeah.
When you have faced it, you will come back once you've understood. He went on the job the first day and called me straight up. Yeah, well, nobody understood anything he said. And I'm like, that's what I was trying to help you to understand. Even me, I don't understand much of what you say. And
Exactly.
I'm not mean. I am on your side.
Yeah.
I want you to succeed. So if
Mm,
even I don't understand a lot of the things you say, then you can imagine what other people who haven't got the same kind of supportive environment for you
yeah.
will feel.
Yeah.
So this was something you picked up with the kids. And yes, I
Mm.
wanted to have this conversation.
Oh
So
yeah.
baseline it. They didn't understand you, but did you understand them?
To the latter, I understood everything they say. We were watching American movies. We were watching. I mean, and we understand every word they say, but they were not getting me. I'm like, how? It was serious.
And
Look, there
nobody
were
has questioned your English before.
no one has questioned my English before. And when
That's
I went to the UK, the British, they understand everything you say. But these people, I was like, what is it about you people? Even I didn't, and even to the extent that some of the adults,
yeah.
I'm like, are you guys? I got it was getting to me. You know, I
It
it
will
was
affect
bad.
your self-esteem if you're not
Yes,
careful.
yes, it affected it. Then I quickly had to wake up
Yeah.
from that zone. I'm like, you know what? You need to stand your authority. So I need that teacher voice.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to look rude in shouting because there were times kids stood up to me that they'll beat me.
Huh.
And you have to hold yourself. There were many times I have to hold myself and just breathe in, think about the salary, think about my family, and seriously, the dollar was the guiding principle. I look at it and say, if not for that money that will hit the account, you would have seen the other side of me.
Well, you've got to find something to motivate you to stay on the straight and narrow.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And all the teachers that we came, we were struggling. And there was this 50-year-old, 50-year-old Jamaican woman. She doesn't even look 50. She has taught math. She was the HOD in Jamaica. She has
Yeah.
held a lot of positions. And come and see these kids. Omo Jojo, they were playing
It's
ball
a
with her.
humbling experience. It will humble you. I mean,
Yes,
migration to new places will humble you because you see, most of the things she was in Jamaica means nothing here.
nothing, nothing.
Nothing.
And
You are
and
starting
and
out.
they don't get it. They don't even care what you wear in Jamaica. And she will
No.
always, and her class was just, if was also teaching math, her class was just across my, so she would just come, Selassie, me can't handle, me can't. Me who was suffering, I was now consoling this woman. And I said, me, seriously, you can't handle, you can't, me too, me can't handle, me can't handle.
This the last year I just killed me.
And no one offered me. What's Selassie? Me can't handle.
But again, see, it would be so frustrating. I think this is another thing you brought up, which is
Yeah.
quite significant. When you migrate from the grassroots, you
Mm,
suffer, but you do
yeah.
not suffer as much as those who come from the elevated places.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you are from the grassroots and people trample on you, you are used to people's feet. And so
Exactly.
when you come here and people are trampling on you, It's not a new experience. It's
Mhm.
what you expect, and so on. The
Yeah,
migrants who come on the higher elevated position, so you will find people who come from managerial positions in particular in
exactly.
their home countries, come here and they struggle. So let's pick up on
Big
those.
time. Big time.
Let's discuss that a little bit. So if you've got teachers from anywhere else who have risen a
Yeah.
little bit, and based
Mm,
on what your colleagues have experienced since you got here, what would you say to
yeah.
them? Be your advice.
I will tell them that come without your elevated position.
Mm,
Because if you were the NAT coordinator, you were the NAT grad secretary, you were whatever. If you come with that cap, these students will humble you and you will pack your bags and leave. That is the first thing.
yeah,
So I was rather encouraging this woman, say, look, you came for a reason. Look
yeah,
beyond how these kids are responding to you.
yeah.
She will come crying, and at a point, me the crying, I do it alone. I sit in the corner when they are all gone. And this time I'm serious. One of the time I was just sitting there for nothing, and the tears just dropped. I'm like, what just happened to me? I felt sad around myself. You know how that
Because you
feeling
were
is.
emotionally battered, and it is a
Exactly.
serious reality that a lot of migrant teachers face. Yes,
Mhm,
you come in here
mhm.
having established your self-esteem. You come as an adult. By now, some of you are beginning to become actualized, and you come
Yep.
here and the rug is pulled from underneath you. All the
It
structures,
it
the
it's
scaffolds are
crazy.
gone.
It's
And so
crazy.
yeah, you will find
And
yourself crying.
oh yeah, and they don't care who you are. They don't care your age. They
Yeah,
don't care who you are.
yeah.
And so if you are coming and you rose to that level, oh, you are coming as director one, director two. No, they don't even care about those things here. Come and make sure that you have a plan and you are focusing on that plan, or else they will derail your plan and you try to get that authority back you used to have back home. And trying to get that authority is where the problems will start for you. Because if you don't do it well according to their system and according to their rules, you
You've
mess
gone
up.
there. So your
You'll
director
mess up.
one and whatever else in a different system, how does that? Okay, let's go down observations. The
Mm,
first time somebody evaluated you in the States, which may be the first time you were ever evaluated as a teacher.
yes, yes.
How was that experience?
So for me, for my experience personally in Florida, it wasn't like you don't even know when somebody is walking. They have the key, so they walk in anytime. It was everyday walking. And the observations at first I was a little jittery, but it got better because I was like, after all, I'm good in what I do, so I'm doing my best. And they know the cultural difference and stuff, so I was trying my best. So one principal after the other, they walk in, trying to check what you are doing, trying to check whether you are teaching well, whether the students are obeying the rules and all that. At a point, it got better for me. You see, I wasn't even scared of it. It is the aftermath, the emails they will send you, the feedbacks. Stama. If you don't have your bulletproofs, your emotional bulletproofs on, when you read those emails twice, you are dead.
Let's go there because you've gone there. The evaluations. I think again,
Yes.
if you come from Ghana and you are trained as a teacher in
Mm,
Ghana, it would be with instructivist pedagogy. You would have been
exactly.
trained to instruct. You
Mhm.
come, you are the sage on the stage, you instruct. The kids are supposed to receive knowledge and be
Yes.
grateful that you are giving impartation onto them. And maybe they should clap for you and they should be very happy about you and so on.
Mhm.
Then you come to Western places. In
Hmm.
fact, these people, even the old model of it was constructivist a long time ago. At the moment, they are constructionists, completely
Mm,
constructionists. They expect the
mhm.
kids to construct things, artifacts that demonstrate their knowledge. They want to see the children applying what you and resources around can give them. I've seen
Exactly.
teachers who have come from Africa who are very proud of themselves and they finish delivering what is a shite lesson in the West. It's shite. He just came and he sang like Michael Jackson, and he's done. And he's very proud because he thinks he knows the knowledge. The kids sat there,
Exactly.
the kids did not do a thing. There is no demonstration of outcomes for the kids. And when you give feedback to these people, you can see it is crushing. So let's go there.
Exactly. So there were times. Okay, you wanted to ask something?
No, you go.
Yeah. So I had my first professional observation from my assistant principal. In fact, my math coach came first, and the assistant principal came, and they observed. They would sit in the class. I mean, the duration wasn't that much. It was like 15 minutes lesson, so they could sit in the whole class, make notes, observe how you manage your class, how you discipline, how you deal with disciplinary issues, how you deliver your content, how you monitor. I mean, those who are paying attention and those who are not paying attention and all that. Then after that, they'll send you a nice feedback. We have a platform where they put the feedback. Then you're supposed to go in, read, and sign to whatever they have provided. And you know, this summer, this is me. I've never. I mean, I've been teaching for. I started teaching in 2010. Nobody walked to my class to observe me. No one. I can tell you for a fact. Not from the district, not from the school itself. My principal, my headmaster, or my head of department. No, no one came. So it was freedom for everybody. And here you are, somebody coming to sit in your class to see how you. I'm like, what are you observing? And they give you the feedback. Oh, Zama. And I was the email person. So click, I'll just click and watch. I'll click. No, 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 no. Every time they do that, I go down one level in my emotional strength.
Tell me the things that make you go down one level, because yeah, I know a lot of the teachers will watch you. There are lots of aspirant teachers who want to come out in these places. What I'm actually trying to do with this first interview with Selassie is baseline reality for you.
Yeah.
Obviously, I will bring him back and he will talk to you about the agency and he will tell you about the practicalities. But today, I want baseline reality. What were the things in that feedback that brought you down a few pegs?
One of them was for the first time, one of them walked into my class. Oh, whilst we were teaching, one student was on their phone. And he made that point straight up that whilst we were on the screen writing something to show them how to work out the math, a student was, and I'm like, do I have eyes behind my head to see it?
Yes, you should. You are accountable.
I was battling that. I was like, why would this man say that? And whilst you were giving this instruction, some of the kids were doing another thing. Some of them were on their Chromebooks. I mean, was it time for them to be on their Chromebooks? Because that time and the whole thing jumbled up. So I realized that it was purely about my classroom management. You know, it was the classroom management skills that was lacking, because you had to be like a Superman in that particular class. See all the misbehaviors, and you see, as we are teaching, this is quadratic equation, blah blah blah. Hey, come on, let's go. Put your phone down, and it's like you are doing everything in between. It's like a mother in the kitchen trying to cook at the same time, streamline the kids, and at the same time make sure the husband is also okay, and the whole thing is just playing like a movie. And by the time you leave the teaching, because I was like, deliver content, and they were like, no, we are not even interested in your content. How do these kids pay attention in your class? That is what we are interested in. So those feedbacks keep getting to me every day, and I'm like, what am I doing? Because I told them, put your phone away, do that, don't go on your phone. But I was supposed to be very assertive. I was supposed to be firm. If you don't do it, you go out. Hey, go turn in your phone and bring me the receipt. I was supposed to be, they wanted to see me going by the school rules, taking action. A student can walk out. He said, oh, I'm going to the washroom. Then he just walk out. Because the washroom was right across my class. Then we just walk out. They didn't want that. They wanted a setup to know that, hey, this is what a student needs to do when they want to go to the bathroom. And when the student is on their phone, they are supposed to be sent to the office. A whole lot of things were going on. So I realized that even the rules I had, they were not being adhered to because they saw it, they tested me, and they saw that I knew nothing about the consequences. So it was field day, and they played me. The first semester was beautiful. It was well played. They played me,
It was beautiful.
and I
Hello,
lost.
Nancy.
Oh yes, and I lost it. Hello, Mr. Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. It's good to see you.
Hello.
So Nancy and I are bringing experiences from Ghana and situating them in different places. So let's run it past you as well. So when you turned up to the classroom here in your current location, how did pedagogy, the way you knew it, fit in with pedagogy, the way you came to meet it?
Okay, I think my situation is a bit unique because I don't come from a teaching background. I came from a business background.
Yeah.
Okay, so most of the work I have done so far was more like corporate related. And then I started teaching at the uni level. So I would say I did not have a baptism of fire because when you start teaching at the uni level, you have more, over 18, and they are a little bit more, they've gone through their puberty stage and they're a little bit more settled than if it's like you're teaching in a high school. So I did not have a baptism of fire. My baptism of fire came later when I decided to add high school to uni.
Okay, tell us some of these stories. We want to know because there are people who want to come to teach. They've seen you guys teaching, and you are rocking it, and they want to come in. And I think if we don't baseline reality, we will create a lot of disappointed souls because they will come in with take expectations. So let's go there. When you finally got your baptism,
when I finally got my baptism was when here we have different types of school systems. So I was teaching in a high school which only goes up to the 10th grade. So we have two different kinds. Actually, we have three different kinds of high schools in Germany. We have one that goes only to the 9th grade. Then we have one that goes to the 10th grade, and we have one that goes to the 12th grade. So the ones that goes to the ones that go to 9th and 10th grade, it's more like when the kids finish, they go to like a polytechnic. And not to say that the kids are not clever or intelligent, it just tends to be more for kids who are more hands-on based learning type of kids. And the school that goes to the 12th grade are more for kids who are more like theory based. And from their personalities, those who are more theory based, like my little girl, they tend to be the ones that like to read more, they can absorb. And those kids tend to be more easy to handle than the kids who need to be hands-on to be able to learn. So those kids that need hands-on to be able to learn, you cannot just come to the classroom and be reading from your book and expect them to engage with you. You cannot, And
why not?
You cannot because you're not connecting with them. And once you don't connect with them, then they start to misbehave because they're not connecting with you. You don't have their attention. And that was, I come from a very theory-based background. I am an avid reader. I am somebody who was like a teacher's pet in school. Going to school was something that was enjoyable for me. It was easy for me. I was never a troublemaker in school. I'm not a shit starter, excuse my language. I was somebody who just likes to listen to authority because I don't like to get into trouble. So dealing with other people who don't care about authority, that was very strange for me, because there is absolutely nothing that you can do to them. Like, there is nothing. If you don't connect with them, there's nothing. Like, I remember one incident. This is something that I always go back to. There's one time I was teaching 9th graders, and there was this girl who came in, and she had like a very, very nice Michael Kors bag with hair. And in this bag, there was nothing. There was just makeup, nothing else in the bag. She didn't have books with her. She didn't have writing, nothing. And then I asked them, and she's Russian. Not say I'm saying anything about Russians, but then she was all styled up. Her nails were longer than mine. Her makeup was like on point. Her eyebrows, I was envious of. And she came and she was like, I was like, where are your English books? And she said, you know what, my mom is going through a divorce and we are going through a hard time, so we have not bought the books, And I was looking at the girl, the bag she was holding cost like 300 euros. Her nails are like 40 euros. And you can't buy a 10-euro book to come to school. And there was nothing that I can say, I cannot be like, can I have a conversation with your mom? Or there's nothing that you can do really, because basically it's like she does not care, And that was, for me, that was something that was like very, very shocking for me. And like, yeah, like Mr. O was saying, trying to connect with them was the hardest part, because here you can't scare the kids into doing what you say. You can't force them. So you only have to find a way to like connect with them, and especially if you're teaching in a school where it tends to have lots of kids in these kind of situations, like kids who come from single parents homes, kids whose parents are on welfare and so on. They have so many things going on in their life. You have to make them be interested in what you're teaching, because at that point they don't even see the reason why they have to learn what they have to learn. And that was the most difficult part. And also, of course, when kids find out that you are African, they try to, they try to like come for you, So you have to really...
Please explain how, which, when.
They come for you in so many, in Germany, in so many ways, in so many ways. Like we have a controversial chocolate cookie here that the Germans, as a slang, they call it the N-word kiss. And recently the company has changed the cookie's name just to be something else, because even now, even in my school, we are currently doing a play, and because of me, they had to change so many things in the book, because the book was written somewhere in the 50s and the N-word is all over the book, So they have to change the book. And sometimes, it's controversial the last 2-3 years. And then some people want a reaction from you. They will intentionally like bring this cookie in the class. And then another person will say, oh, can you pass me the N-word cookie or something, And then they look at me like they really want a reaction from me. The worst thing you can do is like give them the reaction that they are looking for. You just, you don't give them the reaction that they are looking for. And as teenagers will try you, whether they are white, black, or green, they will try you. So you have to be the adult in the room, And for me, the one thing that helped me the most was because I don't come from this background, I was a bit radical when I went in. I went in by watching prison movies, and I decided when I go in, I'm going to break the leader of the gang. Like, I'm going to break the spirit of the leader of the gang. And once I have that person under control, I'll have everybody else under control. So once it's like, that's the person who's going to try you first. And once you get that person under control and you check that person and let that person know, they're like, yeah, then I don't want to be here. I want to go. And I was like, okay, then bye. That's the door. And then the second time he was like, and I was like, bye, out the door, And once he was sitting out like a month, it was always bye. As soon as the first word comes out of his mouth, misbehaving, bye. Because when you watch like prison movies, when you go in, you have to go to the top dog and establish your rank. Like, this is my classroom, And then I had to like give them a long speech about, when you enter this room, I am the boss. This is my classroom. For the next 90 minutes, this is my room. Here we have a lot of fun, but we don't disrespect each other. You understand? You have to set clear boundaries, and you have to, even if it's your favorite student, you have to, the very minute they do something wrong, out, And once they know, okay, she does not play, there are no rooms to wiggle, they will start to, take you serious, But it's tough. Even here, like it's very, very, very extremely rare to meet a teacher who is Black. Even those kids who are raised here is really, really rare. And for me to be somebody who migrated here in my 30s to even be a teacher, it blows people's mind, like how,
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm a talkative, and I like to be present when I am in a room. Like, I like to. So when I did my master's degree, I was always present. I was always, because when you grow up in Ghana, you are not taught to be presence like that. You know, people will nickname you like you talk too much.
Slow down, because you go into a very important point.
Yeah,
We are looking at the natural aptitudes and the developed aptitudes based on where we came from, the cultural things that can bring issues. And yes, I want people to be aware of this. When you come from Ghana, you come a mellow, timid person
yeah,
typically because you are broken by the
yeah,
community.
Yeah.
So let's go
yeah.
there. How does that affect your interactions here?
Well, for Mr. Oh, you would like to take that first.
No, you can go first.
Okay, so you know, when you grow up in Ghana, you are kind of like timidity is rewarded in Ghana. You know,
Yeah.
meekness is something that is seen as virtuous. You know,
Exactly.
so if you're somebody who likes to talk, my whole life people told me I talk too much. You know, so as I grew up, I tend to like tone that down, like, you know, and it got to a point where by the time I got to the uni level, I was somebody who did not talk at all. You know, I was somebody who was like, I had like shut down that part of who I am. And like when I'm growing up as a child, I was always a kid who was in Sunday school plays and everything. But because people kept telling me, you talk too much, you do this too much. So I tend to like, I toned it really, really down as time went on. And when I moved here, after I moved here, I was like, when I did my master's degree here, the first semester was hell for me because I was so timid and I did not talk at all in class. You know, I was the oldest amongst everybody else. I was the one with the most work experience because most of them were coming straight from the uni system. And me, I went to Jakpa. I had to work my way to go to school. You know, I started uni bachelor's degree when I was 26. You know, I didn't go straight from SSC or whatever straight into the uni system. I had to work, and then I was also traveling a lot, you know, trying my luck in different countries. So when I went to the uni, and the first day there was like introduction, this warm up where we do, you know, because we're like about 18 students in my master course. And then I said my age, and one girl just said, "Why are you so old and coming to school?"
As a dinosaur in class.
And that killed everything for me, you know. That really killed myself. And what even made it worse was that week that uni started, kindergarten teachers were on strike. So I had to take my kids with me to school. So that made it even worse. Like I was this odd person in the group with her kids next to her. It was really, really uncomfortable, you know. It was very embarrassing. So when they said that, I was very, very quiet. And it ended up being that when there was like group work, nobody wanted to do group work with me. Nobody wanted me in their group or nothing. So I just discovered a guy who was also from Nicaragua, who is going through something similar. Like he's having the same experience as I was having. And we became like, you know, good. And he had already done a master's degree in Nicaragua before he moved there. And he was the second oldest person. So after the semester was over and our grades came out and everything, then people started to give us the recognition that we deserve, that, you know, we are not so dumb like we look, because their first idea in their head is, oh, you are black, you are dumb, you are not, you know, they don't take you serious. But once they started to see, after the first semester was over, then now people wanted us in their groups and people wanted to, like, you know, associate with us. And then I decided that, okay, before I was quiet, people were not giving me a chance. Now that I am coming out of my shell, even if what I'm saying is wrong, just because you are present and engaging, people think, okay, you have something to say. So I decided, okay, I am never going to be a quiet person. And I made a conscious effort that I wasn't going to raise my kids to be quiet kids also, because if they are quiet, they're equally going to be going through the same bullying I went in the first semester. So I decided we're going to have a house where everybody can just share how they feel and what they want to say. Every voice can be heard at home. Yeah.
That is bang on. So let's go there, because Nancy has thrown some interesting things. Go on. So,
I think it's the same thing for me. I think it's the same thing for me because, as you said, meekness is a virtue. Being quiet is, you are considered the respectful one, you know. So you come to a class of kids who are used to challenging authority. They are used to speaking their mind. They are used to, you know. And you go to the cafeteria, they are calling the principal. I don't know if I can. Let me just give a name. Maybe Mr. George. That's not my principal name, but they just call him, hey George, what's up? You good? I'm like, how can these kids be calling the principal by his first name just like that and be walking away? And they stand by him and they are, having a conversation. You can't get it anywhere. So that was the whole. I was like, you guys don't respect. And one thing that helped me in terms of the age too was most of them, when at a point where they relaxed and we're having good conversations, I was telling them about Ghana and how life and how we wear uniforms and that. And I mentioned my age. Almost all of them, I was older than all their parents. Almost all of them. So they were like, you are a grandpa, you are a dad. And we started.
Is that a good thing?
No, because for them, their parents should be a certain age. So for you to be up there, you're like, you are too old. And so they wanted to just take advantage of you and play with you. And I was like, no. and it was hell for me. It was just all about spinning. And for Sister Nancy, you had the opportunity to even identify the gang leader. No, me, for our part, the gang leaders don't talk.
Yeah.
They are the ones that will be at the background for the little ones to go and make the noise, to see how you will react.
Mm-hmm.
Then based on that, they will form their plan against you. So I was attacking the little ones, forgetting that there is a gang leader behind the scene. So by the time they saw my tactics with the little ones, they formed the whole, and that was why I lost it. And I was like, I didn't see this coming because I thought I was attacking the gang leader. No, they were the noisemaker. They are the small ones. So they came at me. I mean, they stood right in front of me. They want to beat me. And I'm like, you want to try it? If I hit you with one hand, you are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to that point. They got that close.
They would try you.
My heart was raging, and I wanted to just slap the hell out of them. And these are 15-year-old little kids. And it got to that point. So for us, and those of them who are coming, especially this analyst said, if you are already in the industry, fine, you can have teaching strategies. But if you are not, or those of them who went in and they went out of, some of them went out of office. Like,
let's be honest, even the ones who are in office, even the ones who are in office, with your typical instructivist pedagogy, with you as authoritarian, the way our system is set up, you are in for a shock. You are in for a shock.
Oh, yes. Because if you ask somebody, why didn't you do your homework? They will just tell you, in German, they'll say, "Kein Bock." It means, I'm not interested. I just didn't have the interest to do it today. And then, what would you say after that? I'm just not interested
get mad.
in it.
I mean, for me, they told
you the truth. I don't have any interest to do it.
Exactly. For me, they told me I was working. They said, Mr. O, what? I was working till 12. What do you mean?
Yeah. Someone will say, I had football practice. I didn't have time for this homework. Finish.
Exactly.
And you can't do any. It's not like in Ghana where you can actually be like, okay, there's some kind of like punishment or disciplinary action or something. There is nothing you can do. I mean, the worst you can do in Germany is after 5 missed homework, write a letter home. But most of the time, most of these mothers are so busy going through so much themselves that it's not like they are neglecting their children. Life is like throwing so many things at them. They don't have time for this one letter. They read it and put it aside, and then that's it.
I know some of them can't even read it, sister.
That is a thing. That is a whole other thing. You know, some of my sisters and brothers here, they've not mastered the language yet, so they can't even read it.
People will translate.
And and they also have this mindset that where some of them also transfer to their kids that it doesn't matter. Even if you go to all the school here in Germany, you're not going to be given a chance. So it doesn't really matter, So, and what I have to add this, what I actually found out was even more shocking was that when I had like 1 or 2 black kids in my class, they ended up being more rude than the white kids.
Okay, now you've gone there again.
They ended up being more rude towards me than the white kids.
So you know why?
Why?
Okay. Now, this is a very interesting one, and I'm glad you brought it. Look, these kids have come to Germany. They have worked really hard to blend in, and they were beginning to blend in, and the Germans were forgetting that they were immigrants. And here you are, looking like their past, reminding them of where they've just left, looking ridiculous and daring to this thing was
true.
explained to me by a kid
Yeah.
who was doing it to, it was a Nigerian kid doing it to a Nigerian teacher. I pulled this kid and I'm like, well, excuse you. But she says, Miss, look, I'm not being funny. This accent is what I came with. They all laughed at me. Now they've forgotten it. And this guy sounds like me. You know what? The kid said, oh, he sounds like when you first came. No, he's not doing all my work.
Wow.
He's not doing all my hard work. I hate him.
Right.
But yeah, you want to
true.
look
I can believe that. I also think you look like somebody at home who is more strict, and all of a sudden you are wearing the same costume like my mom. You look like my mom, but you can't do me foco, So now I'm going to put all of that frustration out here in the classroom because I can't show that frustration at home.
Yeah.
So it was like that was very, very hard for me to accept. Like I was expecting to have some kind of I don't know, like some kind of kinship. Some kind of kinship with these kids, and they were like, you're not getting any kind of.
No, you are reminding them of their past. There's no kinship.
Exactly, So that was hard. That was really, really hard for me to accept.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go there first, but
please go there.
That was one thing I discovered. Very unfortunate. Very, very. And Orlando is predominantly blacks. Yeah. And it has the Haitians, it has the Jamaicans, a lot of them. And we have the typical blacks. And all my classes, 7 periods, all the ones I had, the white kids were the most respectful. They came in respectful. They will call me by my last name and come to me, ask for help, do this. My people. I always call them my people. Oh, Titama. They were my worst nightmares. And some of these Haitians, I always tell them, look, your country is vanishing into the sea, and you are here. You are disrespecting me. Me, you are disrespecting me. And at a point, I went down to that level with them, and I gave it to them. I told them my piece of mind. They said, look, and when I pick your country and I give it to you, when I pick your country, I give it to you. After that, they were all quiet looking at me. It took one bold one to say, man, you're doing too much, man. You're doing too much. Because I go to them and I'm like, you can't disrespect me. And some of them, they cannot even talk at home, especially the Haitian kids. They beat them, they discipline them like, the real home. But when they come to school, they want to do, like they are bossy. Yeah. Because they are following the blacks here. And the blacks here, they always, they have this inferiority complex about us. They think they are better than us. Or is it not? It's like superiority. They think they are superior to we, the real Africans. But the irony in this whole thing is we are always smarter than them. And I have found out that, and I've dealt with a lot of them, even here in North Carolina, I've dealt with a lot. And I'm like, why is it that every time they said suspension, they said fight, it is about you guys? Why? Why is it always you? Why can't it? We cannot beat these people by the color, because your color alone is putting you at -5. Now you have to travel all the way to 0 before you start making progress. So why won't you use the education, the opportunity given to you to just prove these guys wrong? Obama did it. It's all about here.
You are the only person telling them that. It's one of my challenges too. Yeah. Nobody else is having this conversation with them. They don't understand. And a lot of these kids get into trouble. I actually pulled a kid to one side once, and I explained what was going on in her class, and she began to cry. There were 2 teachers, the math teacher and the English teacher. They would actually have a bet to see who could get rid of her from their class the quickest. There was £5 on it every day. And this idiot will turn up chewing gum. The teacher says something. Okay, out. And when they came to the staff room, they would pay up whoever managed. They would look on the school system and see who got this lot in the shortest possible time. And the person will win £5 from the other one. And I had to put the kid to one side. Wow. Don't you realize that people are playing games with your stupidity? Don't you realize? Don't you realize that people press the buttons and because you are stupid, you jump? And yeah, you have to have some of these conversations. Again, it's wonderful when you turn up to these schools and these kids challenge you, but you understand a lot of
Yeah.
these kids also from perspectives that those who haven't walked this path don't get. And
They don't
eventually,
get it.
to get through to them,
Right.
that's where the satisfaction comes from, isn't it, Nancy?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. And for me, one of the things that I find most satisfying is that for kids to see somebody who looks like them being in the classroom, I find that satisfying. However, in that same breath, there are certain Black people spaces where I cannot completely have this conversation I am having here, especially here
Exactly.
in Germany. I have to be very careful as somebody who is married to a white man when I have these kinds of conversations and I point out how some of the Black kids behave in class. I am seen as
The
being
sellout.
yeah,
Mhm.
kind of,
Yeah.
and because every time like a parent will come to me, people who know that I'm a teacher, they come to me with like school related stuff, and I try to be um very practical about how I see the situation. Some people understand where I'm coming from, and some people also do not. But the people who are committed to misunderstanding you, they would misunderstand you. They will not listen to what you're trying to say, because I keep telling them, listen, like I have an incident where a lady came to me and she was telling me that a teacher keeps throwing her son out of the class. And I was like, listen, do you know how difficult it is to manage a classroom with like 25 kids, and you're trying, you have your lesson planned out, you know where you want the next 4 weeks to go, and you have one person
Yeah.
disturbing you and derailing your plans. It is frustrating. And you're like, yeah, another person told her that it's because her kid is not wearing the right clothes. Your kid has to be wearing all the labels and things like that. Then teachers will know that your child is not poor. And I said, listen, I am a teacher. I don't give a damn about what clothes kids wear. As long as
Okay.
they are not reeking of alcohol or any kind of, there's no smell, I don't care. The thing I love most is when I come, I ask questions, you raise your hand, you answer questions, you do your homework, then I'm happy. We don't care about clothes. But most people here in the African community in Germany, I can speak of, things that, oh, this is what I need to do for your the teachers don't respect my child because my child is Black, because my child does not wear the right clothes, doesn't have the right labels and things like that. They don't understand that trying to teach 25 people in a classroom, it's not easy
But
if
the
you
teacher
have
doesn't
2
like
or
your
3 people always trying to cause
your kid has no
chaos.
manners. That's why
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That is it. And I also try to tell them that, listen, your child has yes, my child, this is Germany, my child has a right to education. I say yes, but the teacher has a right to her mental health as well. She has the right that your child does not make her kaput. Your child can't go home and then be frustrated because of 1 or 2, because it is a reality. So many teachers are leaving the classroom in Germany. We have we have a shortage of teachers right now, which
Wow.
is a big issue in Germany. Whether the child goes to gymnasium, Realschule, or they are always missing teachers. Classes have to be cut short. Right now, in my daughter's school, my Julia's school, Wednesdays, the first 2 periods are free because whoever is supposed to fill there is not there. Germans don't want to teach any longer. They don't want to go into the classroom to deal with these kids, So and I'm like, you are even lucky she's just letting your child go out. If it gets too much, they're going to throw the child out of the school. So as a
Yeah.
parent, I would advise either you go and sit in the classroom to watch how your child behaves in the classroom, or let your child know that you are working really closely with the teacher. Everything that is going on, you're doing the same. Because if your child knows that, okay, your child is going in this direction, teacher is in this direction, you are in that direction, then the child starts to play the two of you. But then once again, I'm glad we're having this conversation, because it's not everybody who wants to hear this
No.
Oh
conversation
yeah.
at all.
Well, but a
In
lot of
fact,
people
oh,
hear
sorry.
it. No, go on, Selassie. When you finish, I'll go after
No,
you.
I'm just surprised that a whole Germany, they also have this teacher attrition issue, because back here it's a big thing. And even in North Carolina alone, there's one county here. They started with 371 shortages that they were supposed to fill. When the first semester ended, they have
Yeah.
391,
Yeah.
and the number is still growing. And it's
Yes.
like people walk. I mean, I've had schools that teachers walk into the class. I mean, in a week they lost 5 math teachers.
Yeah.
They just walk in, pack their stuff, and they are gone. They didn't tell the principal anything, nothing. And they had to jumble all those kids into one class. I mean, they shared them among the teachers, and everyone is complaining. It's because, as you said, you have two kids. Look, I had a class last year, second semester, where I had just three black kids, three black boys. They were in my class. The whole class was white. When I start my class and they are not in, oh, my heart is full of joy. And because you have that conducive atmosphere, they are listening, they are paying attention, they are asking questions, we are interacting and everything. Because they know me. Me, if I deliver my lessons and I give you work and you do it, the rest of the time we can vibe. We can just, be among ourselves. And they love it. So they always want to give me that, content time. Then we do it because we have 90 minutes. So we are supposed to at least maximize 70-80% of it on classroom work. But these ones, as soon as they come from they want it to be play. They will jump from here. This one will jump from here, and they will go here. And I said, no, I can't have it. I've called them out more than necessary. I've written them out more than necessary. At the point, I stopped writing them up. I stopped calling them out because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to deal with you one-on-one. And when they start doing it, I said, hey, is it because I'm black? I said, yes, because you are black. Because you can't sit your bum down and learn. What kind of human being are you? Then I'll shut them down. Oh, they will listen. 5 minutes, they'll be sober. They'll be sober. They'll be nice. In the next 5 minutes, it has started again. And they will blame it on HDAD, whatever. Every day they have something they are blaming their behaviors on. And the parents will be, even if they don't care, I email them. They don't return. Some of them, as you said, it's overwhelming for them. So for the kid being away from the home, it's like a holiday for them.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want to
it's a problem
anything
now.
to do with. It's a problem now. They don't want anything to do with anything that you. It's your job. Do it. I say it's not my job to train this child. He's with me for less than half of the day. He's with you 24/7. I'm not supposed to teach him because if I want to teach him discipline, we'll go down the level. And my way of discipline is different. Some of them need slaps, some of them need whooping, serious one. But you guys don't have the guts to do it. No, I tell them they don't have the guts to do it. But they tell you it's your problem.
This is a wonderful conversation. I've allowed the conversation to go because I wanted the teachers who are coming to actually hear the reality here. I want you to know what you are walking into. You are coming in as an immigrant into these systems to fit a role that the natives don't want. And yes, it's a very difficult role. I also see a lot of our people coming in with a very funny prince mentality. They want to the classroom and they want to be able to get a work permit. Yeah, it is easy for you to get a work permit in most places to come to the classroom because the natives don't want it. These are the reasons why the natives don't want it. And you have to remind yourselves of the outcomes you are after. And you have to make sure that these children and anybody else and anything else around you does not ruin it for you. And it's really important that I wanted to set this baseline. I want people to understand what it is you are coming into. I get a lot of funny complaints. The children are not listening. Look, children here don't listen. The children here don't care. No, they don't even respect their own parents. Never mind you with your funny accent and your funny smelling like our foods. No, they don't care. They really don't. Do you understand what you are looking for? And is what you are looking for important enough to you for you to focus and get things done? That's the real question here, isn't it? So let's come and update. Nancy, somebody's looking to Jakpa to come teach in Germany. Germany looks like a beautiful place. Apparently, they'll give them a lot of money for them to come and teach, and they'll be rich overnight. Please explain the reality to me in Germany. They want to come and teach. What can they expect really in reality?
Well, I speak a lot about Cinderella syndrome, especially for our ladies. So especially for for our ladies, those who want to come to Germany, not just to teach, but to do any kind of job, you know. Whenever I hear people say that abroad is hard, I am like, what were you expecting? Were you expecting to be given free money? There is nothing like free money here. Everything that you're going to make, you're going to be working for. And you have to understand that people give, whatever a company pays you, you are probably doing 2 or 3 times the work equivalent of what they pay you. If you have ever done any business course, you understand that you do this knowing that you're going to make a profit. So if somebody employs you to come and do teaching, whatever, they are trying to make a profit of you. They are not trying to pay you and you take advantage of them. If you want to come to Germany to come and teach, first of all, you have to make sure that you have the right mindset. You have to be somebody who has a very, very flexible mindset. You have to be somebody who can adapt easily to situations, to new environments. You know, if you're somebody who is stuck in her ways or his or her ways, where you think you're going to bring your Ghanaian mentality or your African mentality or African way of doing things here and expect to be paid, you would end up being very frustrated, very depressed. That is the thing. You have to know that you're coming here to do a lot of hard work. Let's go to teaching. If you're going to be teaching, you have to understand that you cannot yell at anybody's kids. You cannot hit anybody's kid here. You have to we have to read a lot. Forget about anything that you were taught in teachers training college or whatever. You have to read a lot of books on interpersonal relationships, on how to connect to children, on how teaching children with scattered brains, children who are brilliant but all over the place. You know, you are going to meet, I have met so many kids with so many different diagnoses I never even knew existed. There's Tourette's. I've never heard of that sickness before. Like, what is Tourette's? I have never, ADHD, I knew it existed. You know, now I had to learn all about everything that is on the spectrum. You know, I have to learn. I mean, this is the thing. The school that I teach is an inclusive school. You're going to have kids who have hearing aids on in the classroom. When I was teaching at the uni, I had to prepare tests only for a student who is 80% legally blind or something. These are all things that you will never deal with in Ghana, even if you teach in the best schools in Ghana or the worst schools. These are experiences you can't make until you come here. So you have to be somebody who is constantly learning, constantly reading, constantly researching, and you just forget everything that you learned here. Find somebody, shadow the person, let that person give you the inside scoop. And when they tell you don't do this, don't take it like they are trying to like control you or they're trying to be too much. They have been there, they've been baptized with fire, and they're trying to help you not to have that same experience.
Amazing. Wonderful. So let me come to you. What would we say to those who are looking to come?
Those who are looking to come, I would say come with a plan. If you don't come with a plan, the pain will distract you. The pain, the struggle will distract you, seriously. Because just as Sister Nancy said, they are going to put all these keys together for you. They are not separated. You have all kind of kids, those who cannot see well, those who cannot hear well, those who have all kind of plans. In fact, we have even serious ones that watch it. Some of them I don't even know how to mention it. They bring me the sheet, mine is to sign, and I sign, and as it goes. But you have to provide all these accommodations for these children in a day within the same class. Some of them, they have hearing problems, so you have to hang this device in your neck to be able to speak so that they can hear. Some of them cannot work on their Chromebooks, so you have to always provide paperwork for them because they have a problem with the eye. There's a lot of things you are dealing with at the same time. And at the same time, you are dealing with the behavioral ones. So leave every Ghanaian thing you have learned, all your practices, all the things, leave it back home. When you are coming, come and open up yourself to learn. There are people who have walked the same path. Open up yourself to learn more from them. Don't pretend as if you are in your own world and I came by myself, I'm working. I have a lot of experiences like that. After helping them and everything, they are the bosses of their own. And some of them have been sacked back home. In fact, the school will let go of you easily because the principals, they are there to protect their job. Everyone is protecting their job here. So if you come and you want to try and be bossy, try to do your thing. There was a Ghanaian guy, we told him, don't, I mean, you work smacking somebody's kid. He's
Excuse you?
gone. Yes,
He did
gone.
what?
I mean, he smacked, like, you know how we, back when we used 2 fingers to, we are Palaboni. Oh, yes, oh, he's gone.
No. Oh my
Yes, he's gone.
God.
He was lucky. The school had to let him go because the parents wanted to,
Sue him.
make case. Yeah, they wanted to sue the school and sue him. Then quickly the principal had to, they have to sacrifice you. And he's gone. I mean, because he did it in one school, they changed the school for you. You went and do it again, and now, boom. And I answer, you are not here to discipline anybody. Yours is to, you see, that is one thing I told you from the beginning that helped me. I had a plan. So my focus was on the plan more than what was happening. Because when I think about the emotional breakdowns, I was like, I wanted to leave. At the point, I wanted to go back. I asked myself, where they were, like, where they were, because you look around you and it's like there is nobody to help. And the people whom we came with, I was crying and they were also crying to me. They were seeing me as I'm better than them. And so I was like, I better put myself together. And one thing I would say here, the classroom is not about your content that you are delivering. Even if you have 2 students out of 25 who understand what you teach that day, your job is done. It is more about how to keep them, how to make sure that the little they can do for you, they have done it, and how to manage them. Because as you are teaching, emails are dropping, you have to reply to. They are sending you a chat. Please send this key to the nurse. Do this. And you have to be juggling between your laptop, between the Chromebook, and at the same time dealing with discipline and making sure that you are calling those who have to go out. And at the same time, safety. You cannot leave the children in the class and go out. I've told them several times, even to go and read, to prepare as a teacher, I have to make sure I call for somebody to come and stand in the class. Because the least minute, last year I had that issue. The only thing that saved me was it was class transition. They were transitioning from one class to the other. And I walked from my door, because this is a period that I feel, oh, they are good. They are my nicest periods. I walked from my door less than 5 minutes, a fight started in my class. I mean, there were other kids that came from other classes that brought the fight there. And I was called. I'm like, we were all standing here. I just walked to see one teacher to ask him something, and boom. Luckily for me, my principal knows me. He has never had that issue with me. So he was like, okay, Mr. O, let's be careful, blah, blah, blah. Anything else, they'll pin it on you because you have to provide safety in that classroom. You have to make sure you are there all the time to make sure there is no fight and all that. So it's a lot. They are not coming here to just shout on anybody or any kid and say, hey, do the homework, shut down, sit down. No. Please, if you are coming here with that mindset, then you better stay home and enjoy your lazy way. Because, in fact, I always say that Napo was paying us and we're doing the work he was paying us to do. Because the way you pay me is the way I'll teach. In fact, there are days I can stay home for 3 days. I'm saying it today.
You've done that. So let's say it. The volume of work that you did at home and the volume of work you do here. Discuss.
No, the volume of work I do here is way different. It's a lot. It's a lot. You are sending emails. You have to be touching base with kids that have accommodations. You have to be signing their documents, making sure they are getting those accommodations. Because if one kid reports that I'm supposed to test in a separate room and you don't give that accommodation, you are dead. In fact, you are gone. So the volume of work is more, it's a lot than what I was back home. I can say it was a walk in the park. Seriously, because I know the content. I don't go to class with my book. The thing is all here. So I go calculus, we do everything, differentiation. It's something that comes naturally to me. So I just pour and I go. But here I can do that. In fact, here I was learning more when I came first. I was learning more because it is not about the fact that I didn't know what to teach, but how to break it down, how to make it very easy to be able to connect with them, as I said, because your first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes is the crucial time in the class. If you lose them at that moment, you are done for the day. You may as well pack your things and just go, because just over bread, the whole day over bread. Once they walk in and you don't grip them, you don't grip their mind with something, boom, that's it. You're gone. So as you are coming, please, wherever you are going, be it UK, I know people are struggling to go to UK to teach the QT and all that. It is not about you trying to do the same thing you do back home. No, it doesn't work. The two are different. The volume of work is different. Back home, I mean, the books, they'll be piled up in the staff common room. It will take me 4 weeks to mark one exercise. Nobody cares. Nobody says anything. But here, every Monday, you are supposed to be updating the grade book. Whatever work you gave on Friday, make sure it's in. I mean, they are on you. The emails will be coming. The parents will be sending their own. The principals will be sending their own. They'll be calling you. There's a phone in every class. Here, there's a phone in every class. They'll be calling. The calls will come. And you have to be doing parent meetings. Some of the parents will come with challenges. Oh, my child is complaining about this. We have to do meetings with those parents. I mean, and there's not like free time. Even your planning periods, they will tell you to go and cover another teacher's class because there's no teacher for that class. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, those of you, as Mr. Nancy said, with the Cinderella mindset, and those of you who are coming as if you are the boss of your own, no. If you are a headmaster, please put your headmaster post down. If you are the head of department, you let it stay at the airport. When you get here, you are nothing. Nobody cares about who you are. They don't even regard your work experience. They don't. I always tell the teachers that you are now coming to teach. All the 10 years that you've taught in Ghana was preparatory. It was just the school you were going. Now you are coming to do the real teaching. Come and do it and let's see.
Yeah.
They will come and you will be.
Sorry to jump in, but I also feel like, teaching here has somehow also elevated my parenting style, because you can't do lazy teaching. And most of the things that I learn, I also implement it, so it's the same thing. Like, I don't hate the kids. You have to find different ways, because it's very, very easy to just hate people and let them be afraid of you. And that is lazy teaching. Trying to really connect with people and try to create an interest in the subjects that they want to, actually study it and do homework. It's hard to have that connection. But once you build that connection, the rest of the school year goes, easy for you. And just like Mr. O said, here, parents, they email you, like we have this app. Children, even today on a Sunday, I'm getting emails, I'm getting text messages. They text you their concerns, they email you, and they can ask for a meeting. A parent can ask for a meeting anytime during the week. You have to make, accommodations for that. The parents will talk to you about any concern. Anything that happens in the classroom that the children report back home, the parents have a right to come and ask you about it. And you have to be very, very careful, because if they want to sue you, they can sue you. In Ghana, I have never heard of anybody actually suing a particular teacher before. It's unheard of. Maybe it happens, but I have not heard of it. But here they can sue you, so you have to be extremely also careful about that. So all this lazy teaching or lazy style of connecting with people where we use fear and punishment, it will not work here. So if you now, before you leave Ghana, start practicing how to connect with kids on a more deeper level so that you can have that base. But regardless of what you do, nothing can really prepare. You have to experience it to know what we are talking about. So having that flexible mindset is what is going to help you the most. You can't, as we are saying, if you're listening to us, it will sound like stories, it will really sound like stories, because you will not understand how you'll be like, because you can't imagine it, you understand? Maybe you've seen it in American movies or something, but you have to really come here to experience how, and when it happens, how you yourself, sometimes you don't even know which reaction to have. Like, you are even confused and lost yourself. And you can actually feel in your veins, your blood going through your veins. And you have to tell yourself, calm down, don't react, and things like that.
Exactly.
It takes another level of self-control. Really, you have to learn another level of self-control as an adult to be able to deal in this situation. So people ask me here in Germany all the time, even Ghanaians who are here, Nigerians and some Cameroonians, they're always like, oh, I want to teach. How did you get into teaching? And I always tell them, first, try and find a substitute role. Do it for like a few weeks and see if it's something that you really want to do. Because, it's not for everybody. Honestly, it's not for everybody. So first do it. If you survive it, maybe then but don't just, because there's a teacher shortage here. They need people, but people think, oh, you're discouraged. I'm not. Be a substitute for a few weeks and see. And most people can't, really.
You've gone there with some of the very important things. The preparation for this thing is actually more mental than anything else. You have to come in knowing that everything you have known is going out of the window. And you are going back to the classroom with a fresh exercise book to write down like you have not trained as a teacher. If you were trained in most of the countries that we come from, you would have been trained with instructivist pedagogy. We moved on and went constructivist maybe 50 years ago in some of these countries. And a lot of them have even moved on now with working with digital technologies to completely constructionist pedagogies, which is very new to you. And yes, you will come and learn. And yes, you will be trying to get your PowerPoint to display. You will be trying, the kids will be playing. I went to somebody's class where the kids had figured out how to remotely control the board. And so the kids all have iPads and they have all connected to the board control. The teacher doesn't know. So the teacher has the remote control in her hand. She presses, the kids will press. They will let her start teaching and then we'll start spotlighting. When she's trying to write on the board, they will freeze the board. You see, and you could see steam coming out of this woman's ears. This person is sweating because it was actually a lesson observation. It was enough. 3 people in there observing this person. These kids are playing games with you. And I've also seen versatile people experience the same thing. So I've seen people say to the kids, hey, today, this is what we're going to do. I was going to play such wonderful things with you. And the board is not working. So we're going to move on to paperwork. And magically, the board started working. But it is a versatility to take these things in your stride. It's the ability to play these games with them. Yes, I had a game for you. I can't play the game because the board is not working. And so suddenly, the kids quickly manage to make the board work. That's a teacher who knows kids, who learns these things about how children behave, is rolling with the punches. Are kids going to do funny things? Of course, they are going to do funny things. Are you going to have to be the adult in the room to know how to manage them emotionally? Yes, you would. I would recommend, if you are going to take any courses before you come on these Jakpa journeys, emotional intelligence is one of the ones I will highly recommend you go do. You need a master class in emotional intelligence. You need to be able to handle your feelings. You cannot let your feelings ride the decisions you make. And sometimes we have these conversations and it sounds like we are scaring people. Nancy, should teachers Jakpa or not? What would you say?
Oh, definitely. I would say teachers should Jakpa because when you look at, first of all, just the reward that you get from it, the salaries are much better. The way teachers are treated back home in Ghana, somebody will teach for like 30 years and then when they are done teaching, they have the pension is not something that they can live on. And for me to say, oh, don't Jakpa, and then you're going to be 65 or 67, go on pension and still have to be renting a room. If you are not lucky to be awarded best teacher by some type of government in power, then you have to, and I will never discourage anybody from Japan. That is me. If there is an opportunity for teachers to teach anywhere in the world, I would say they should take it first to get more experience, to understand different countries and how school systems work, one, and also to somehow enrich their pockets, because at the end of the day, there's nobody, we don't have any kind of support system in Ghana. Nobody's looking out for you. You have to look out for yourself. And hopefully, if we start having severe shortages, maybe they will start to pay teachers a bit better, because sometimes I hear about teachers who've not received their salaries for the last 3-4 months, and I'm wondering, how are they expected to survive? If you're in such a situation and there is an opportunity for you to Japan, please take it, but take it knowing that it's not going to be a wall in the park. We don't want to hear about your stories on social media where you all of a sudden realizes that this is hard. It is hard. There's no free money here. It's hard. You have to put in the work to get the money. But if you have the opportunity, go for it.
Excellent. Right. Selassie, should they Japa or should they just stay?
Oh yes, me. I always say that Jakpa, if you have the opportunity and if you have the means, but Jakpa with a plan. Don't just walk in and thinking that money is on the streets of America. No, or on the streets of UK or Germany or Canada. Nowhere is cool. Nowhere is cool. So Jakpa, yes, but Jakpa with a plan. Sit down, project, do yourself. Where do you want to see yourself? Where do you want to see your family? Are you moving because you just want to move, or you are moving because you had a plan, or because of your children? Let it be, structure yourself. If you don't, the system will structure you and it will throw you anywhere that it wants. Because it's not like we have it well structured back home where that kind of structured life. No, here there's nothing like that. You could be there, your life will be distracted within minutes. A weather could distract everything you have planned. Even they will say, okay, all of you go online, and you don't have anything to teach whilst you are online. What are you going to do? So, yes, Jakpa, me, I love it, because I told myself I was born and bred in Ghana. For over 30 years, I was still in Ghana. Now, I want to see a different life. I want to experience something new. For the money, yes, it's good. It's not bad. If you compare it, it's not bad at all. You can do a lot of things with that. And even the economy you are living in, the opportunities here, there are a lot. If you move to these economies, the opportunities are a lot. Better investment opportunities, better educational opportunities, better life. Joko will always say you have added 2 years to your life by Jakpa, So those are the things I look at. If you have that plan, that is, if you do, sit down, start structuring yourself now before you move. That's what I would say.
Excellent. So Jakpa all the way. To be honest,
Yes.
I people say to me about brain drain and I laugh my head off. I always say that if you have been funded by state funds, there's always a certain number of years that every country determines that you've got to serve to pay back. I think in most places it's 5 years, and it's really important that we also clarify this. It's wrong
Yeah.
when you take funds from the state and you are trained by the state, and then you don't want to return and you want to up sticks and go. If you want to Japa as a teacher, I suggest that you make sure that the minimum you need to serve, especially those of you who've been given allowances and whatnot at home to train, the government invests these monies in you. And yes, if you've taken their allowance, you actually do owe them. And for that period of time that they have stipulated that you stay, you are actually on the bond. Serve it. Serve it.
Yeah.
But if you have served your time, or if you have trained yourself and you don't owe any allegiances to anybody else, then you can up sticks and go. I was in Manchester, doing Manchester, and after a while, I realized, you know what, I'm off. Bye. I've done enough. I've served over a decade here. I'm off to go try something else. And yes, I'm here. No remorse, no apologies to anybody. I have given back where I'm supposed to give back, and I'm sitting and living freely. If I want to go back home and practice, that door is still open. I think it's also important when you decide to go to new places to make sure you don't burn your bridges, because sometimes, regardless of all your planning, you will go to places and you just don't fit. You have to be prepared to go back and fit in if that is what is necessary at a time. Guys, I want to pick your brains about Jakpa, but I also know we've got to give it in bite-sized chunks. I want to do this for maybe a 6-week period because people have been in my ear. Everybody's talking Jakpa. Why are you not talking Jakpa? When you have Jakpa, Jakpa. I'm like, okay, fine, we will do it. But I will come at Jakpa from my style. I want you to actually hear people's real lived examples, and I want the smart ones of you to actually pick lessons from what people have done so that you can also devise your own strategies. Because I think Nancy and Selassie have thrown some real gems today of what you can expect in the reality. And if you are smart, you should start planning. You should have your action plans begin. I'm going to go to Germany and I want to teach in this phase. This is the qualifications I need, and these are the attitudes I need to take. Okay, I'm going to the States. I expect that they speak English, but as Selassie was saying, you might end up not understanding the English you think you understand. I think a lot of people come to Germany, for example, knowing the lingua is different and they are prepared for the lingua because it's completely different. But people who go to Anglophone countries who are Anglophone or people who go to Francophone countries who are Francophone expect to turn up and be able to speak the language in the classroom. You will discover the children don't understand your English the way you think they should understand your English. And yeah, you need a plan for that. Guys, can I thank you sincerely for the time you've sacrificed for this? These are life transformed. I owe you a debt of gratitude. And I think the audience will agree with me in expressing my thanks and gratitude. And I hope you will come sometime soon for us to continue on the interpersonal. We've gone with more the professional today. I want to know the personal. How do you fit in? How do you do of course? Because that's also a big issue, isn't it? Fitting in
is a big issue
of your problem.
Yeah,
Knowing how
it is.
in wider society is an even bigger issue. And yeah, a lot of migrants come and they just don't integrate and they struggle. They don't understand why things are not. And then we defer back to racism. They are racist, most of the time they are not. Most of the time they are not. It's you who's not fitting in. You've not understood the game. You are not integrating. It's got very little to do with anything else. But yeah, I would like us to go there and have that conversation soon. So I'll be in. We will arrange the time, and I hope it would fit in for us to continue. But thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Fabulous.
Thank you for having me, Stabra. Thank you so much.
Mother's Day to all the mothers. We do a phenomenal job, and I hope you find little things to bring you satisfaction on the journey. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Bye.